Hey everybody, Robert Earl on the roof at the Eco Ranch yet again, only this time we are not going to be talking about wind turbines or solar panels. We're going to talk about the roof at the Eco Ranch. Turning this around, this is where my old roof used to be. And all this is our new roof, and all we're doing is putting a new roof on and adding some purlons. Now just real briefly, when we came here in January of 2010, and if you look on the Singing Turkeys channel of our, which is my personal channel, YouTube channel, you'll see a long slideshow about when we first arrived here, but the first few slides show the truck heavily overloaded with the green roofing panels and a bunch of lumber. And what that is that's recycled chicken house lumber that I got, and I recycled the roofing panels off of our old roof in Florida, which was mostly our chicken house. So there's the panels laying on the ground. There's the mess that I have to do. But the thing is, when we got here, we didn't have a whole heck of a lot of money. So I spaced my purlons, even though I used 2x4s, I spaced my purlons at 4-foot intervals. Now, if you don't know anything about roofs, guys, this might be a little bit of an education, but there's they are at 4-foot intervals. The problem is, if a 200-pound man like me steps in between there, you run the risk of bending the roof, and it's just not all that sturdy. So the extra lumber you see just thrown up here will give me purlons every 2 feet. Then we put the roofing over that. Debbie's dad was like 73 years old, I think, when we started doing the roofs in Florida. And he was real shaky on it. But we learned, and so can you. You know, the thing is, most of us are pretty much fall within the average range of intelligence. That means that the guy who's putting on your roof, the guy who's doing your plumbing, the guy who's doing almost anything for you, he's in that same average range, and the only difference between him and you is he knows a little bit more because he read or he studied. You study, you read, you can do the same stuff that he does, the same stuff I do, hopefully a little bit neater than the way I do it. And do a lot of do-it-yourself, and maybe get yourself your own little eco ranch in your own little dream location, wherever that might be in the world. So coming back, we'll have the purlons on. Well, I'm back on the roof, and I ran into a little bit of a problem that I really should have known when I was first up here. Pretty much, let's walk around here. Pretty much, I can't get a step ladder there to stand up on the ladder to nail the purlons because there's pigs and a hog wallow down there. So I can't access it from down there. So the way that 9 out of 10 men would do it is they'd sit on those 2x4s there and nail the new purlons in. Nail, 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 nail. Ideal way to do it. But I have one little problem. I don't like heights, and that's probably the biggest understatement in the world. I get terrified of heights. So this is the way Greg told me to do the put the panels on, and that's what I'm going to do here, show you the way that it was recommended to me by my salesman at Muller Steel. So I'm going to get set up and turn it back on, and we'll go from there. I went through the whole thing of explaining how I put the panels on and why, and didn't turn the camera on. So we're going to try again. This panel's put on. This is the second panel that is going on here, and I've got, I think, 5 to go across, but whatever. You're only going to see this one. What they told me to do is to glue these together, run a bead of cement. In this case, we're using liquid nails. You could use almost any construction adhesive you want. We got liquid nails. I didn't particularly want to use liquid nails, but we got it. It was all they had at the hardware store in town, and I'm always limited in Alpine. It's only a town of 5,000 people. So I'm always limited as to what they carry. When you get down here to the bottom, it's very important that you have some glue. I glued this piece earlier, and so this glue is dry. It's no good, so I'm going to put this, I'm gluing right over the top of it. Also gluing over my XM cable. That's going to be a throwaway if something happens. You know, the XM cable is just lost, it's gone. There we are. Carefully pick up your panel, run it across, set it down. sure it's square. Wiggle it a little bit, it doesn't hurt. I learned on Indoors Out from Dean and Derek that the best way to get an adhesive to work is to put the two pieces together, pick them up, drop it again. So I do it. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Two things here. We're going to stagger this joint forward a little bit. The reason I'm staggering this joint forward about an inch is that my building's not square. Now, building inspectors all over the country just said, ha ha, but my building's not square, so nothing you can do about it, so ha ha. But at any rate, I do have to stagger the joint. Right about this point, I've staggered the other joints. Also, make sure my XM cable is not where I'm going to be running a screw through. Okay, now, very, very, very important that you do this. Walk down your edge. And make sure that when you get to the end, that you're not cocked a ½ inch or ¼ inch, because that'll screw everything all up. And now I'm going to go ahead and screw it down. Now I have two different sizes of screws to use. I asked my salesman at Muller Steel what he sent me these little squanchy ones for. Those are to stitch the panels together. Those go high. These go into the structure. I saw some videos and some DIY stuff online that said that you should secure it to the structure from up here, and their thinking was if you use the ridges, then you don't run the risk of getting leakage. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. I'm going to say that the people I bought my steel from told me that's why there's gaskets down here, just secure to the structure down low but stitched together up high. So that's what we're going to do. It won't make a difference here in the desert if I get a small leak, but by God, if you're in Louisiana or Houston or anywhere else where you get a lot of rain, it could make a big difference. We had some leakage in Florida, and we had them down here. So I don't know whether it was because it was our first the first time we ever installed a steel roof, or whether it was because of the rain. But at any rate, we're going to go ahead and secure this panel. On these, put your foot right on top of it, get some weight on them, make sure that everything's down and fitting and is snug. And go to the other end. Same thing, make sure it's secure, tight. Remember, you're going to have overlap. So the overlap, when I put the overlap on, that'll take this all the way to the end. Then I put one of these at every purlin. Change bits for me, because the squanchy screws have a different head than the long screws. This is magnetic, so it's not as difficult to work with. Now on your bottom row, that's the row where the seam is. Down here you want to put a couple extras in. You want to hold it in good and tight. You also want to be sure that you line up with your purlin. Extras just at the bottom. Then it's just 3 per purlin all the way down. Okay, last screw on this panel. A word about these screws. I'll sit, because I'm lazy, I'll sit a lot of times and try to do this. These are self-tapping screws. They'll make their own hole. They've got a sharp tip on the end. They're designed for you to put them in. You know, you got a magnetic bit, put them in the bit, put some pressure down. Pressure is already piercing the steel. When you pull the trigger, down it goes right away. Do not over tighten. If you over tighten, you're going to break that rubber gasket, and then you have leakage. Don't over tighten. Put some weight on it before you start, and you are going to do the roof just like a professional for a lot less cost, and you'll piss off the butt crack building inspector. Now I'll come back when the whole roof is done just to show it to you, and a few final words, because it's all from here. It's just like the shampoo bottle, lather, rinse, repeat. So we'll repeat. See you later. Hey, I'm back. I'm sitting on my newly finished replacement roof. It's been 24 hours, but through the magic of editing for dummies, or dummy editing, I'm not sure which one, it's only been a few moments for you. Roof's done, looks good. The finger touchers could come out here and find a bunch of mistakes, and that's fine, because I'll break the fingers off, send them on their way. But a couple of things I'm going to show you. Pick up the tripod, and let's go look at them. First thing is, I don't like to go through the roof with anything, but I did have a scrap, a good scrap. It happened to be white. And I do have to go through the roof with the CB antenna, because that thing we can't move. So we went through the roof. A typical installation where the bottom end is on top, top end goes underneath, and that way the water will flow through, or flow over. But what remains of that hole there, we're going to be bringing cement up and then finish it off with a waterproof grout, as opposed to a caulking. The grout will fill in that big old hole. And this gives me right now a little over 1,500 square feet of roof that we have gutters attached to. The gutters attached to it gives me roughly 800 to 900 gallons of water for every inch of rain that falls. Next step on the roof is to go out that way into our bedroom, our bathroom, and our garage. We went through the roof here with the chimney. I've wrapped my air tube around it, but we went through the roof with the chimney. Underneath that, it's supported by the concrete up here, completely watertight. And sitting on top of our chimney is our little buddy, Wellesley, kind of guarding the place and making sure nothing goes down the chimney. So with that, I hope you got something off of my roof trials and tribulations. And try it yourself, because take a look at mine. Yours isn't going to look a whole heck of a lot worse than that. Probably look better. Thanks for watching.